All right, Facebook back in the headlines. The antitrust woes appear to be actually growing at this point. A judge just granted the Federal Trade Commission a second chance to pursue its charges of illegal monopolization against Facebook, now rejecting the company's motion to dismiss the lawsuit in an earlier filing. Joining us now to discuss is Sari Cebulski, attorney, former Texas congressional candidate, and former assistant administrator for the Small Business Association, along with CEO of FreeSpace, Jon D. Willis. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right. So, Sarah, I'll go to you first on this one. Facebook. These people have an immense amount of control. They have Facebook, they have Instagram, along with a slew of other programs. Do they have too much control over the information that is being regulated to the John Q. public?
Absolutely. But the problem is not do they have control, is that what are federal regulators going to do about it? I mean, we knew about these issues when they initially acquired Instagram. We knew about these issues essentially a decade ago. And yet all that happens is lawsuits are filed, federal regulators look the other way, and the American public continues to have Facebook. I myself don't have it. And so I would encourage every conservative to delete their Facebook account if they really want to protest them.
Yeah, I use the Instagram, but I don't use the Facebook thing. So I can't. I have too many platforms right now between Twitter and FreeSpace and Instagram. Everything has to be populated. So, Jon, you happen to be the CEO of FreeSpace. So you've seen a significant number of stories that just get wiped off the face of the earth because Facebook deems it not so. Hunter Biden's laptop, et cetera, et cetera. How are they allowed under Section 230 to control these the flow of information like this?
Well, technically, they're not allowed to do that. They're supposed to be a platform and not a publisher. And Section 230 offers protections to platforms with regards to liable lawsuits and that type of deal. But when they act as a publisher where they are controlling content, opinions, and such, that puts them in a very precarious situation. The biggest issue, though, is no one's holding them truly accountable for it. I know we have this FTC lawsuit with the monopolization aspect going on, but no one's really held their feet to the fire, mainly because the parties in power are the ones that are reaping the benefits of the total censorship and banning that we're seeing across the board with big tech.
Yeah, that to me is one of the most scary things is they're not being, there's a law there and nobody's abiding by it and nobody's being held accountable. Sari, I want to turn to something like there's a popular app, Jason Miller, one of our guys here on Newsmax, Gettr, okay? I held back from a number of these platforms until I felt like I found the right one for me. I hadn't joined Gettr, I didn't join TikTok, I didn't join a lot of these, I guess the other one's Gab or something like that. So I didn't join those because I wanted to see which ones stick because there's only so much space in here. Now, Joe Rogan says, look, I'm on Gettr. Come check me out. All this stuff. We had a lot of famous people recently make the exodus to Gettr. But now people like Joe Rogan have said, whoa, there's some weird stuff going on here. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever Joe Rogan and his 115 million followers kind of go somewhere, a portion of them go. And the problem with Gettr, and Jason Miller has done a great job in trying to take something to a higher level, they are doing the same type of enforcement issues that Facebook and other social media companies are doing. And as Jon very correctly pointed out, Section 230, essentially, if you think about it, it's like the legal and regulatory equivalent of breathing air. What the federal government did for these social media companies and the internet in toto is that when they started, they allowed them to put anything on the internet and anything on social media so that you could just have breathing of air of information. Right. But over the course of 30 years, they have selectively chosen to deplatform conservatives and deplatform Republicans. And the problem that Jason Miller and Gettr is having is they chose to deplatform somebody on the same nebulous metric that Facebook and Instagram and all these other companies are doing while still getting 230 protection.
Yeah, that's interesting to me, Jon. So, you are very familiar with this. You run one of these platforms. And look, I have nothing bad to say about Jason. I think that the Gettr platform is a great place for conservatives to gather. But when you start banning conservatives for mentioning negative parts about Gettr, I mean, shouldn't we have the discussion at least?
Yeah, it's definitely a slippery slope when anytime someone speaks out against the platform itself and the platform takes action against them, but still claims to be a free speech platform. There's some hypocrisy there. Anytime anyone brings up the fact of the Chinese funding that Gettr has, or the fake accounts that a lot of these influencers have, when you go and check and see who their followers are, majority of the accounts are fake. Anytime anyone speaks out about that, they're immediately banned from the platform completely. We saw it with Nick Fuentes. We saw it with Jon Miller recently. Joe Rogan is now speaking out about, there's a word that he used that I'm not allowed to repeat on TV because it's
Thank you for that. Keep me on air.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that going on. And what we strive to do with FreeSpace is, we champion people's opinion and individuality. We just want people to be real, to be themselves. And if there's something they don't like about me personally, or they don't like about the platform, it's fine. It's their business.
John, I'm going to post how much I hate you on your platform and see if you ban me.
I thought you did that yesterday.
All right. Sari Zapolsky, Jon Willis, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, remember President Trump's first